Yeah.
Great. Hey guys, of course, I'm Ethan, and we're here live now with a good friend of mine back in the United States. He's in Texas, Bill RT, somebody that I've known since I think 2004. A very prolific, I'll call entrepreneur. He might describe it different, but I'll leave it at that and let him decide.
Well, one of the things that I'm very proud of in regards to my journey is the fact that I built some really solid relationships in the community. And I think whatever you do, if you stay consistent with your relationship with the community, you can't help but be successful. And I think that's the one thing I admire about Ethan, no matter what the client is going to do, and being consistent with your community and showing what you care and showing that you care is very important. And everything else will take care of itself once you have those two things in line. Caring about people and really trying to connect with people on a personal level will lead to your success in your financial. Uh, I'm amazed by the little seeds that are sown out in the community, how they come back, um, as fruitful business. So don't get discouraged like if your initial efforts don't succeed, because what you're doing, you're planting those seeds out there, and the more that you care for it and water it, I mean, next thing you know, you'll have a little plant sprouting up. So sticking to it, and having the right mindset and passion towards it is what's going to make your business successful, no matter what it is. Um, Take your failures as learning opportunities, and you know, stay grounded. I'm a believer in faith, so whatever I think, usually comes to. So that's you know, if you think positive things are going to happen for you. To me, just off the cuff, for the first time hearing it, a mastermind alliance means that I'm going to align myself with like-minded individuals, which I think is what Ethan's very successful at doing. So he's bringing all these individuals with like-minded goals, and we're all going to put together a master plan to try to reach those goals. That means we're going to pick each other up when we're down. We're going to offer suggestions and tips, and give historical background behind our tips. Some of the mistakes that we may have made, you won't have to make them. Uh, that's from hearing that term for the first time. That's what I think about when you say a mastermind alliance. I'm gonna get together with people that think like I do and have the same type of goals, and we're gonna talk about our failures. Be very transparent about some of the things that worked, and some of the things that didn't work in a safe, non-judgmental environment. Some of the roadblocks will be lack of patience, and I'm learning that from you. You stayed the course. You stayed patient through the process. You trusted the process more than you trusted the results. So the process is what drives you, and you're patient with it. So that's why you've been doing what you're doing for the last, I guess, over 10 years now.
Mhm.
So just trusting the process and not getting locked in on the immediate results, knowing that you're sowing good seeds out there. And um, it was just amazed. I'm just amazed at the exponential growth and momentum that your ideas are having right now on a global level versus what you started here in our local area here in Bryan. Um, and that didn't happen overnight. So it was something that you put your mind to, and no matter how many years or you know whatever we want to define it as success, that never stopped you from striving and keeping it going, and pushing a little harder to keep that momentum going. So that's what I admire you. And if I was telling a young entrepreneur, I mean, number one, have patience, have passion behind what you're doing. And another thing I'll say is, don't fall in love with an idea to where it can't evolve or change. If it's something that you realize that you're not passionate about, or it's just not the right timing for whatever your idea is, you know, search for your next idea. Don't get so locked in or in love with it to where you can't change or evolve. I'll say evolve, because things do happen in the market that change. You know, so don't get discouraged when your first or third or fourth idea doesn't work. If you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna have to fail a little bit. I equate that to, it was funny. I heard this quote yesterday about gardening. I got my garden going right now for the spring. And one master gardener said that my success is built on the compost of all my failures. So, in other words, there's a lot of dead plants that I just left in the box when they didn't work out. Well, they're going to feed my next ideas. They're going to feed my next garden, naturally and organically. So I'm letting all the failures and setbacks in my life be the compost or the fertilizer for my next idea. So that requires a lot of patience and requires a lot of discipline in regards to not stop dreaming. So whatever hurdles come your way, and maybe even roadblocks. Roadblock is, in my mind, roadblock is something I can go around, or if you have like something that stops you completely and makes you change your entire course, maybe that's the compost or the fertilizer for your next idea. So stay encouraged and keep pushing, and realize failures are just learning opportunities. Because you're going to fail as an entrepreneur, you're going to fail. What was it? Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he got the light bulb right. I mean, you probably got the facts on that more than I do. So, but that one idea that popped changed the entire world. So
That was powerful. You was on it. Especially the fact that you started talking about falling in love with the process. And I believe that the
yeah,
compost example is an example of that, right? The process. Like, okay, these flowers, these plants didn't make it, but I'm still in love with this process of seeing what happens when my garden does bloom. And you're absolutely right, Bill. That's the story of my life. I tell people now when I teach about shift, I became the shift approach. I had to become what
yeah.
shift is in order for it to be what it's evolved into now. I'm literally the idea of what the shift approach is. And that came from a lot of compost, a lot of compost. So I think you're absolutely right.
There's no excuse for not being prepared when it comes to having the information to support your ideas. So put in the work. Use people like Ethan to understand some strategies when it comes to how to gather the information. Am I even gathering the right information? Uh, so don't expect success to come just because you have the greatest idea in the world. Go out there and find every means of supporting data to show that what you're doing will work. And then, if you come to the conclusion that it can't work, don't be afraid to move on. Add that to your compost mix or your fertilizer for your next idea. Go out there and collect the wood. Information is the wood nowadays, in my
Mm.
opinion. Because you're looking for investors, and you got all the more information you have that can back your idea, the more likely they're going to be to invest in your idea. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to communicate. The first thing you do is learn how to communicate your ideas in a way someone can gravitate towards it and really understand outside of the emotional side of things. Because of course we're going to be emotionally attached to our ideas. To learn how to uh, make it a logical, easy for someone to logically pick up on it, so they can jump on board, based on logic versus the emotional side of things. And I think that's where Ethan can help you out with your presentations and you know, how you present it to potential investors.
Very important to be practical. I think you and I both probably during even our relationship together have probably together not been practical about things that we had to become compost. And that's one thing we do.
Yep.
We try to make people be very practical, very specific about things, because many times Somebody might give you a very vague idea, which is a red flag for you don't really know what you're talking
Sure.
about. You just have something that maybe you've been inspired, and that's fine to be inspired. But in business, you need to be direct and on point. And that's what we try to
Yep.
teach people.
Just like any sport, you want to practice that one play to where there's no way you can mess it up. So you want to
Mhm.
practice your elevator spill to the point to where there's no way you can mess it up. To the point of it's going to be redundant to you because you can see it clearly. But you want to make it to where it's so crystal clear to anybody can understand exactly what your idea is. That takes practice. I mean, you're not going to get it on the first. You probably won't get it on the first or third or fifth try. You know, you don't become an expert at something until you do it 10,000 times. That's what I heard read in the book. So, um, you know, whatever it takes, you might tell the spill to yourself 1,000 times a week to get it right for the 52nd week. So that's why I look at it.
In the spiritual realm, that's more about, we talk about affirmations, the power of life and death being in the
Yeah.
tongue. Put your mind on those things that are above, and a quote that I like to use during shift is, and you just said it basically, but it's fear not the man that has tried
Mm-hmm.
10,000 kicks one time. Fear the man that has tried one kick 10,000 times.
Exactly. That's it. That's it in a nutshell, right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
What would you say is your greatest win as an entrepreneur?
So one of my greatest wins as an entrepreneur, it's really probably not even a financial win, but just a connection win. I mean, I've learned and got to know so many people based on my business relationships to where when the chips hit the fan, so to speak, when my life took a tumble, I had so much community support to help me out. Uh, and I didn't even realize I had an impact on so many people. Ethan knows my story and my health scare that I had, and the amount of people that came to support me after that episode was almost to the point it was embarrassing. Um, and really, really, people came out to help me not only emotionally, spiritually, but financially. So that would be I would consider my biggest win because I always did things right when it came to business. I never, whatever I did, it had to be legit. It was never to get over on somebody. And I think that showed in my support from individuals that came to my aid when I had my health scare. So sometimes your wins may not be 100% financial. Sometimes it could be relationship. I don't even know the word. Relational. From relationships that you actually have, formulate. Getting in the boat and getting out there in the stormy seas with Ethan has built our relationship and our bond to where we're going to be lifelong friends, whether we're you know rich or poor. We're always going to be have each other's back. Um, whenever I feel like I'm spiritually bankrupt, I know I can call Ethan to get my spirit built up. Same for him, I hope. So
Mhm.
that would be I guess, my bigger than a financial win. And I mean, through those relationships, I'm able to go out there and find, a good job in a corporate world in a you know, small family-owned business that I have a little ownership in. It was just based on my solid reputation in the community. So that's my biggest win. So didn't make me the millions of dollars that I want yet, but I still have a dream, and um, I have a feeling that if everybody just coattails off of Ethan, we'll all be successful in the financial realm eventually as well.
Man, I love
Hope
it,
that answers
Bill.
your question.
No, I love it. Thank you so much. It really brought us back full circle
Yeah,
because your answer is related to building community. And that's what we want to really make sure that our founders understand is
building
that
community.
more than anything, what you're doing is building a community. So if you're down or you're up, these people got your back. So thank you so much, Bill. It's been real.